Hello everybody, this is another edition of the Daily Dharma. I so appreciate all of you guys here. Welcome or welcome back. My name's Dina, and let's go ahead and take a few moments, set our energies, take in some of that sage smoke energetically. Ooh, we had a spark just there. And let's set our intentions for the reading. Give us some guidance. I will apologize in advance to you all. I had someone stop by today, got into some fantastic conversation and talking about the future, all those good things, and I have found myself squeezing this reading in between something else that has to go on for me, so slowing down these energies. Let's see, what is a matter of importance? I know at the time of this broadcast, we're getting ready to usher in the new eclipse season, and we've got, in just a few short days here, I believe the 16th and 17th are the exact for the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And then 2 weeks from there, I believe it's October 2nd, we're going to have the new moon solar eclipse. So at this time, we're aligning to what needs to be released so that we can embrace what we are ready for. So the first card coming off the top of the deck, number 43, transition. And in this light, I'm seeing the imagery behind what I've been perceiving. Usually when I look at this card, I see this as, oh, I'm seeing now that the coloring isn't going to allow to see this as well as I would hope. So this is this waveform here, and to me this often talks about the upgraded DNA and the light codes hitting us differently. There's an arrow at the top. It's kind of looking like coming through the other side of a portal, leveling up, but somewhat still course correcting, moving back and forth here. And the imagery behind this, which I do not believe you'll be able to see, there's this 6-pointed star, 2 triangles, one pointing up, one pointing down here, that is in the background. And I think that that's going to be part of the reading today. Let's see what's on the bottom. Belief. Similar color pattern here, and now here we have more of this, what I see as more of a quantum expression here of some energy pattern. So this is perhaps then a shape-shifting belief pattern, moving up, moving away from old pattern belief systems and transitioning into a higher mindset. Here we have consciousness. Let's get a few out. Sacral chakra, the chakra number 2. Integration. Let's do a few more. 22, divine masculine. Synergy, number 41. And let's go for one more here. Prosperity, number 36. So, all right, let's unpack this here. So, a transitioning thought belief pattern. Oh, and below belief, we have tantric journey with that 6-pointed star and the spiral arms going through here. It's almost, as I'm seeing the spiral arm, it's taking me to think about the spiral arm galaxy of the Milky Way into the more cosmic. And so this transition, it's almost like coming through this thought pattern or belief has been possibly part of our destiny. It may be something that's been coming on from the earliest times that we can recall in this incarnation, specifically bringing online more and more understanding as we have more and more of a consciousness awakening going on. And so this integration of all that we are, of all that we've perceived, and all that we desire for our future is helping us to make some new choices. So divine masculine is all about expression, assertion, and choices. It's, as I often say, the 1010 of that masculine, feminine, always at play in our lives. The one is the masculine that is choosing. The 0 is the multiplicity, the pure potentiality. But the one is the singularity of the choice. It's like, yeah, I could go to bed, I could work out, I could go to a local place and hang out with other individuals. I could go for a walk. I could indulge. What are all the options that we could do? And then we kind of feel into, what do I feel like doing? What do I feel obligated to do? And then we make our choice. And so based on where the conversation is going, it's like we may have been conditioned to believe certain things are necessary, or certain things should be given more leverage or precedence over other things, such as, well, I've got to go to work and I've got to make this money, because otherwise, I'm not going to have enough to take care of my family. I don't have time to rest or to recover from an illness that wants to take hold. I have to go. And I believe that if we find ourselves in those situations, that this little sweat bee's trying to tickle my skin here. The more that we ignore the mind, body, and spirit's wisdom and go towards the conditioning and the groupthink mentality that says that perhaps even in an extreme case that we've got to buy into some type of slave mentality of, well, I have to. We always have the choice. We don't have to do the right thing. We don't have to be the bigger person. We don't have to follow our guidance, and we don't have to follow our conditioning. It's always a choice. And sometimes we can find ourselves saying things like, well, I had no choice, or so on. But let's face it, if you are truly sick, then the universe has then taken it out of your hands and perhaps challenged you to honor the sacred body by slowing you down in that way. So I think that here we are, whether it's been something like a tower moment, a redirection, rejection, or anything that could have swayed our path. I think that those of us here are talking about making our way through those ideas ourselves. Nobody's going to force our hand. No one is going to spoon feed us our consciousness, because no one can help. Well, people can help. How do I want to say this? How does it want to come through? Nobody can really break our consciousness through any type of matrix that might come into play. I don't know why this bee wants to hang out here. And so it's almost, how do I want to say this more directly? The way that we work with our choices helps us to break free of the conditioning. It helps us to honor our sacred knowingness. And so we've already broken through so many barriers. We've already rebuilt from so many previous disappointments or growth spurts in our lives. We've already grown through so many towers and transitions that now we kind of have a greater personal identity in regards to that. Like, what are we going to tolerate? Who are we? What helps us to feel more belonging, and what helps us to feel more self-possession? Because belonging doesn't have to happen at the expense of our personal identity. And that's been a message that's been kind of trying to work its way through the messages these last few days. And so the way it came through in conversation earlier was that, from an early age, many of us were not able to numb ourselves enough to not pay attention to the consciousness that we had. It wasn't possible for us, although we may have found ourselves backsliding into unhealthy circumstance or narratives from time to time through our growth cycles. It's just part of the game of life. But I feel like many of us just couldn't ignore the deeper message of compassion, of the deeper consciousness. We weren't surface level operating mentalities here. And so it's like that sense of healthy self-pride comes from, I couldn't ignore these things. I had to keep stretching my consciousness to come to these new conclusions. And some individuals didn't choose for that path. And so instead of having a sense of healthy self-pride, you'll see these individuals more invested in competition, in ego validation, and so on. And so we've worked with the choices, we've worked with our own healthy sense of self-identity. And so we understand at this point and are making these greater conclusions about who's coming with us for the next leg of the journey. Not everybody can get a ticket to our show. Not everybody can get a seat on our bus, because they're not going the same direction as us. And they would just try to, tell us to turn the bus around because they want to go the other direction. But those of us who know where we're going through this process we're describing have understood that true sense of belongingness isn't in being swayed from our course into turning our vehicle around and pursuing things that don't serve us, or that we've already mastered those lessons, obviously, to many of us, right? But then that true belonging happens when we can gather with those individuals who are going in our direction, those individuals who are uplifting, supportive of our development process, and don't want to tell us what to think, but who want to support the development of how to think for ourselves, how to think ourselves into existence, and how to create more relevance for ourselves, to take in all of the multi-dimensional possibilities that we could imagine, and to then come out thinking, yes, I chose this for myself because it's in resonance with who and how I am. We're helping each other out of their jail cells of trapped mindsets and liberating mind, body, and spirit. Seems like there was more to that, but I'm finding myself getting distracted. Let's see, we've got innocence turning sideways in the deck here. I feel like that is from an early age, our innocence was untethered to the conditioning. And so we may have early memories where we can draw back and think, yeah, I remember this one thing that went on and it went like this. And I remember thinking at this tender age where I had no foundational beliefs really, but I understood that something wasn't quite correct. I understood that something was asking me to compromise who or what I was or what I thought, or asking me to align with a belief structure or an authority figure that wasn't healthy or aligned with the truer consciousness. It's like, this is, I guess, at base level, what I'm trying to describe is we came in awake, and many of us did, and then some chose to continue to try to belong to systems and ideologies that didn't suit them. And so here they are masquerading every day of their lives and challenging our sense of person, our sense of personal identity and quirky individuality, perhaps, or whatever it might be for you. They want to challenge your mindset because they can't see through it, or they have chosen to mask, and they would ask you to mask yourself as well, so that it reinforces their belief that that was their best choice. But even if that has become us and we've chosen to adopt masks to adapt to systems and structures that weren't in our highest, I feel that it's never too late. It's never too late to come to our own attention, or to choose a new path, or to choose to rededicate to a path. Underneath the deck here, we have contact. Just want to shuffle this just a little bit more. Coming into contact with those, with the spark of the inner child, the undying, eternal child within. And this card continues to come out for months now. There are a lot of cards in this deck. And the fact that right comes out, I do believe many of us tuning in here are being told that we are able to rewrite our destiny. We're able to rewrite our narrative, and we're rewriting the template for what is possible in this world. I've got this little spider crawling across my camera here. I don't know, really, it's a jumpy spider, which always kind of creeps me out, but whatever. Intuition now on the bottom of the deck. You know what you need to write and what you're getting straight about, whether this is you making a plan. I think that that's part of what I would like to speak today, is about your intuition, your consciousness, and your journey here, your intuitive, eternal, childlike spark here. There's something that you are meant for, that is meant for you, that you are bringing, you're conjuring into reality here. And it's for you to tap into your choice point here, to work I'm hearing cohesively, that's not the word I want though, to work in conjunction with all that is in those ways and all that has manifested, because we can label it darkness or evil, but they're all just alternative timelines. They're all just our alternative experiences and choices that other individuals are making. So we're making our own, and as we start to write out what we are calling in and what we would like to see if our life was our perfect manifesto, then we start really tuning into where that blessing, where that abundance is specifically waiting there, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow of the chakra alignment and activation, that full tantric journey of the integration of masculine and feminine. Like, doing everything for self is somewhat misleading. It's like nobody's an island unto themselves. We all need other people, but before we're almost allowed to rely on other individuals, we need to learn to rely on and unlock all of ourselves. We need to take our broken bits and create a higher timeline for self. And that's where that prosperity is lying, right at the other side of sovereignty. So there's something you are intuitively writing out, perhaps, some type of timeline that you're calling in that is part of your destiny. I feel like I'm repeating myself now. Fairy magic is underneath the deck. So fairy magic, two things. It's comes through for me as comfort seeking behaviors, which ends up being more just the easy path of least resistance. But then when we combine that with the heart's, the soul's urge, then this becomes the magic that unlocks the next layer, the next dimension for us to be able to tap into that greater knowledge. And the friend that was over here earlier was talking about how before you lead somebody into their magic or into more of the mysteries of life and the knowingness, we should be real careful before trying to activate somebody's intuition in those magical realms until we introduce them to their own character and their own morals and ethics. And I've heard this saying a bunch of different ways, but it's basically like, you don't give somebody all the power in the world before you know that they are responsible enough to wield that energy. It's like you don't give a toddler their driver's license. You don't give a toddler a chainsaw or other weapons of perhaps mass destruction or whatever. And so, yeah, it's talking about that with this new layer of our own inner awakening. It's like we keep leveling up, we keep integrating new experiences, we keep integrating new awareness and remembrance of the old gnosis, the soul knowledge. So the two other cards that came off, commitment and union, I find those two to be a brilliant combination. So commitment and union, it's like, to wake yourself up out of this deep sleep, this hibernation phase of, unconsciousness, takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of self-commitment to develop yourself, to choose for evolution, to pull your energy and your power back from temptation and comfort seeking and slipping downhill or seeking belonging with things that aren't meant for us, and to unify that tantric journey, that unification of the above and the below, the within, the without, all of this convergence energy that's been coming through that celestial card that keeps coming up. It's talking about our commitment is not going unnoticed by the further realms. Recently, there was a reading that came through about the future is our future fortune is watching us. And I think that it's not meant in a punishment reward type of a way. That's kind of the old scarcity mindset. Like, we'll be, I don't want to go in that same vein that I was about to go in. I believe that there are other realms cheering us on, asking us to do the right thing, but giving us the divine will to choose for our own adventure, to choose our experience. Remember those books, Choose Your Own Adventure? And sometimes I'd go back and I'd redo the lesson and I'd choose a new page. And then I'd be like, well, I still ended up in this one. What if I went back even further? What if I went back here and then I diverged over here? It's like, and this is how soul growth works. We keep coming back and we keep trying for different things to unlock the next key, the next sacred key to the awakening. And we are really all in this together. And so it shows a real commitment to the light when we can continue to do the right thing and continue to choose the adventure and then make something bigger and brighter because of that. Even if it's, for self, at the beginning, all that we can do is serve the self because we are the all. But when it deviates into selfishness and self-indulgence and entitlement, then yeah, we might decide to pull back from that into something else that is truly rewarding. Instead of the pleasure seeking, then we're seeking for union with self, union with spirit and soul and with the collective. And Yeah, Hilarion on the bottom of the deck here. No mistaking there. That number 5, it's like connecting to our genetic, our ancestral heritage, our cultural heritage, and our heritage and legacy is so much beyond this body and this time and this space, because all of that is part of the illusion matrix of over identification with what is already transpired and what's already settled into form. But as the shapeshifter, which was how we started this out, we're shapeshifting our reality by unifying with all that we are in all of the multiple things. And Hilarion is the scientific process of experimentation, of alchemical shifting and changing lesser into more. It's transmutation and, you know, touching base with others, with their ideas, and with the concepts that have been the ancient, the occult, the mysterious, and coming into contact with so much that we become the enlightened purveyor of our experience. Let's get just a couple from this Akashic Tarot deck here. All right, there's a few coming out. I love how mine often come out in stacks. The Muse is under the deck. So what is it that has captured our attention? Are we following our own inner sacred muse of the eternal child? Are we following the amusements and diversions of distractions and pleasure seeking? Or are we following those energies that truly inspire us, that resonate with some type of core unlocking? And that's where I'm seeing us here. So the ones that popped out, we have, it looks like 4. Beautiful. On top, we have the 2 of Scrolls. That's the air suit swords. And this individual, I don't know if I'll be able to get that lighting correct here. Let's see if we can turn it here. There we go. That's a little bit better. You can see that she's indoors and there's all these resources in abundance here, but she's looking at the fire. I don't know if you're doing some candle gazing, getting your place in order, stacking, packing, organizing. I see some Buddhist flags in the background. I don't know if that's what they're intended as, but it may be something to do with a prayerful time, a time of vigilance, of reconstruction within the self, purging and replenishing energies. And she looks very contemplative here. She's really looking back into the self and making a plan. And she's even got her apron on. So it might be time for us to get to work. If we've been in 2 worlds, a foot in both worlds, you know, trying to navigate a day job or something like that, or a relationship or friend group or family dynamic that doesn't serve, but ultimately hiding ourselves behind a mask and, you know, doing our important work in the isolation and withdrawn sense of inner sanctuary here. It looks like this is the 2 of Swords energy is about looking within so that we can make that choice, so that we can move forward without being that split personality of whatever it is that you already know. The second one coming out, we've already talked about, Hilarion here. So yeah, doing your research and understanding and honoring your mind, body, spirit, and whatever's going on, because there's some type of mystery that you're unraveling here with the help of spirit, with this Uriel and the Sphinx card, number 21. It's talking about unburying the self, unlearning, deprogramming, and getting into the mystery of self, the mystery of what makes you you, and what it is that you plan for yourself. What are you writing into your DNA with every choice and every vibration that you choose to embrace, or say, no, you can keep that over there, thank you, but our bus is going this way. Good luck on your travels type of stuff. So then lastly, we have the One of Keys, which is the Earthly Pentacles suit in this deck, the Architect. So look at these two individuals commissioning a build. So this is, for many of us, we are really literally building something, whether it's a mindset or um, an offering, a teaching, a platform, or we may be mentors. We may be literally building perhaps a new home or a new mindset. But with Right in the Architect, it's like we are the sculptors of our life. We are the great architects of our lives. And this guy has this huge smile on his face here. I don't know if you can see that there, but yeah, he's happy to make this happen, and he's dressed in all these riches, and I believe that talks about the richness of spirit. Perhaps you have some um, interest in the Egyptian lore or something to do with that. I'm hearing Mesopotamia, whatever that might mean to you. And then there's all of these individuals at the top of this wall putting it into practice. So for many of us, we may be building something literally for the consciousness evolution. And if you feel like you're ahead of your time, it's because it's somewhat, it's part of the blessing that you are following your divine inspirations. You're following your divine muse here, your spiritual inspiration. What's below that? Reflection. Yeah, we already talked about that, number 19. We're following our steps and missteps and developing something quite amazing into being here. And the more that we're willing and able to commit to this, to reunify all that we are with our divine path and not doubt that or let others undermine that, and to not allow ourselves to continue to be split into lessening our energy, to fractalizing our own consciousness into, well, I've got to go and do this, so I've got to set aside some of my energy. I've got to put aside my misgivings about me continuing to go the wrong direction in my bus because, it's fine. I've got time. But do we have time? Because the world is developing around us, and it's time for us to unify with all that we are, to bring that forward, to bring that into fruition, to not let our lives pass us by, like perhaps happened in the lives of some of our ancestors or in some of our mentors, where they waited until their 30s, 50s, 80s to have their consciousness evolution journey. It's like we've been kind of on it for all this time. And so that puts us in, I don't want to say elevated perspective, but elevated consciousness is its own thing. It's not to say we're better than, it's to say that we are so necessary to helping others to elevate themselves out of what doesn't feel good, what doesn't serve them. And so we're just walking our own pathway, following our own divine inspiration and our own divine synchronicities as they appear, and developing this life and this new way forward. So we're kind of unraveling the divine mystery of self and the divine mystery of what we're here for. We're doing our studies, we're getting our lists together, and we're choosing to